Okay, today I'm going to show you how to cut up the hindquarters of a black-tailed deer. So first things I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the shank here from the rump portion of the rear end. Just get through that tendon there. Alright, just cut around, you can see here this rear tendon, cut up, and you're going to go carefully around this knee. We're going to find this joint, and we're going to separate out the meat from this joint. There we go, and voila! There we have the leg separated from the hip. So you can see this is a significant chunk. This is where most of your meat comes from on a deer, probably even a thing like a cow or something, is the hip. You can see that I've already done the other hind quarter. So this one, I'm just going to separate this bone here, I think it's the femur, separate it from the hip, and this top hip and back has been separated. I quartered this animal. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to get in here. I'm going to use this knife because I find this a little easier for separating out the various meat masses. There we go. We're just going to trim all as much silver skin as we can off as we go. And then again, you can see where the groups are, the muscle groups are. You just want to just follow those lines. The individual muscle groups, and then we get down to what we're doing here is just getting down to the bone. What we're going to do is we're going to go right around the bone. Working our way around the bones. I know this is an irregular shape in here in this hip socket. As light as possible. Switch knives here, go to this heavier knife. Getting in there. There. Any dog would like that. Nice big femur. So there we go. Now I'm just going to keep working around, and then I'm just going to get this hip and backbone off of the animal here, separate it out, and then once we have this hip joint separated into just a solid meat mass with no bone, then it'll just be a short matter of just cutting the meat chunks into their individual muscle groups. There you go. There's the hip bone all separated out, And now we're just left with the rump with no bone. Just a huge big hunk of meat. Look at that big hunk of meat. And this is where the bulk of your meat comes from in the deer. And so what we're going to do now is just separate these into the individual meat masses. It's easier to start on the inside. You just start working your way through just like you did with the front shoulder, and then I'm going to separate it into 2 piles. I'm going to have some roast, going to have some stew meat, and then if I want to make, I like to keep the meat masses, so the muscle groups, in as large a chunks as possible when I freeze them. If I would like to turn a roast into steaks, that's easy to do, but you can't really turn steaks into roast. So it also freezes better too if you have to cut any freezer burn off or anything like that. Yeah, that's about it. I'm just going to work